Good afternoon, everybody. Jason Leva here with the Fort Worth Community Arts Center on another holiday edition of our fabulous boxed lunch program. We would like to welcome everybody here. Hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. Here's September. We're moving into the fall and all kinds of great things going on. We have two wonderful artisans and educators with us today. We are so very excited to have Vanessa and Taylor with us today. How are you doing today, ladies?
Great.
Thanks.
How are you?
This is really becoming a theme on Box Lunch of having multiple participants. I know that we may not have set this up beforehand, but I recognize that you both have some teaching experience. So I'm really curious to throw you under the bus and see if you raise your hand before you speak, or if you have some sort of like telepathic communication so you know who's supposed to answer what question. So we'll see how it goes. And here's the first one.
We prepped. We actually, the blue circles are me, and the ones with no circles are Taylor.
I knew I could count on the educational component coming to fruition in this. So we're going to test it out, see how it did. And if you ladies would be kind enough to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is you do.
All right. Well, I'm Vanessa Barker. I am one half of the co-founding, co-executive directing team of the Welman Project with Taylor Willis, and we have been best friends for decades now. We actually went to preschool here in Fort Worth back in the day, and we are the Welman Project. What our mission is to fill a classroom, not a landfill, and we do this by collecting surplus materials from the community, and we distribute those materials to educators free of charge. So we exist to exchange materials, exchange creative reuse ideas, to make our Fort Worth cleaner and greener, and to be an advocate for educators and for education as a whole. So that's us in a nutshell. Taylor, anything to add? Did I forget anything?
No, I think you nailed it.
Nailed it.
Specifically, can you give me an example of what would be a product that was reused and taken into a classroom?
We sure can. Taylor's happy to answer that question.
So really anything, certainly stuff that's left over after events, signage that can be turned around on the other side, used as an art canvas. Plastic desk trays that stack that people aren't using anymore because they aren't using paper. Those make great weaving looms, which are awesome for kids to practice their hand-eye coordination and learn about the fabulous history of weaving. CD cases can be used for a number of things. They can be little planters. They can be whiteboards. You can put a piece of paper inside with the letter A on it. Kids can practice tracing their A. File folders, the hard press board file folders make great dividers for keeping kids focused instead of those things that cost like $25 a piece on the internet. So finding creative ways that both save teachers money and reuse this awesome stuff that would otherwise go to waste.
Nice. That's absolutely incredible. So it's not just desks and chairs and cabinetry. It really is threaded through the educational curriculum, and you're looking for any asset to education, not necessarily like desks or chairs or wardrobes that go in the classroom.
Correct. So we have half of our inventory is going to be your basic supplies. Pens, pencils, paper. The other half is going to be a little bit more, will require a little bit more imagination, but that's where we come in. So we received thousands of dollars worth of tiny airplane parts. Don't worry, they weren't in an airplane. They were just discontinued at the factory. So we received those, and we were able to contact our list of robotics teachers and science teachers and give them those materials. We had a physics teacher, someone donated a bowling ball you know, just cleaned out their closet, donated a bowling ball. And we had a physics teacher in a high school that was like, yes, this is going to teach my kids all about all the physics things.
Wow.
That's not my expertise.
You know, those
All the physics things. So when something comes across our path, whether, you know, it's a basic supply or something you'd see in an office or something you would see in an airplane manufacturing company, we look at it as, okay, how can it be used as is, but also how can it be transformed to teach kindergarten math or high school physics? We really want to dispel the myth that creative reuse and reusing is just for artists, it's for everybody. And that creative reuse or using used materials is just for kindergarten art classes. It can have any kind of application, whether that's math, science, history, literacy. So that's kind of our superpower, is to reimagine an object.
But it's also a lot of fun for art teachers to grab all of the weird things.
Yeah, like, don't tell anybody, but we love the art teachers because they give us the most ideas. And what's funny is that with the art teachers, we can take their ideas and we'll have, you know, a 5th grade math teacher come in and go, you know what, this art teacher did this, but it actually could be really cool in your math class for multiplication. So I don't know, we like sharing ideas a whole lot, just as much as we love sharing materials. Nice.
And this is for all age groups, right? All classes, K through 12. And do you have any experience with the college level as well? Has it grown to that form yet?
Yeah, we have worked with some college professors and also some adult education. Fort Worth ISD has a great adult education department, and we've been able to work with a lot of their team to get them some really great stuff too.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible.
They have a parent education program that we were able to outfit with surplus graduation robes. So
nice.
Have a graduation ceremony when they go through this program. So that was really cool.
That really is just absolutely incredible. So inventive, and certainly seems like a wonderful asset across the board for education. So hats off to you, ladies. That's some great things going on there, and I look forward to hearing a little bit more about it. And before we get into all of that, I'm curious, what is on your lunch menu today?
Well, I'm not known for creating things that are edible. So today I welcome you into my kitchen to make Play-Doh out of ingredients in your kitchen. And also, I know that we're all going to be kind of diving into virtual school here soon, at least in Fort Worth ISD. And I am a fidgeter, and this is also a really great thing that's quiet that you can give your kids or your students to help them focus while they're in class or in an interview for the Community Arts Center. I've been playing with this thing the whole time.
It seems to be working.
Yeah, we know.
Great. Nice.
So that's what I'm making today.
Now, Taylor, any lunch plans?
I'm gonna have my husband bring home some takeout soon. I don't cook much either.
Very nice, very nice. Well, I am quite excited to hear about the edible Play-Doh, right?
Okay, disclaimer, you can eat this. All the ingredients are things that are edible. I don't know if I would recommend eating it.
Like tasty.
Maybe
it's not going to be tasty.
And maybe after the interview airs, you can come back on the comments and just give us a simple thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can try that off camera, and then that way.
You want me? I'll try it right now. You want me to try it?
Oh, it's totally up to you, I guess. We haven't presented our lunch plates yet, but why not just jump right in? Yes.
Oh God.
Now, I'm assuming if you were to acclimate your ingredients a little bit, you could put in a little flavor in there. I'm assuming if you.
I don't know if I can swallow it.
Edible Play-Doh.
You know, it's just really heavy on the salt.
Thumbs down on the edible Play-Doh. So I guess saying edible is maybe not the right word. Non-toxic, I guess, would probably
non-toxic.
To state that.
You will get a week's worth of your sodium intake
in one helping.
One helping.
Nice to know. So ladies, speaking of non-toxic, here we sit in a pandemic and you're collecting reused things. What challenges have you faced with the Welman Project in the midst of this pandemic?
Well, you know, even though schools shut down, teachers didn't get to stop. They had to keep on trying to get through this and help the kids get through it. So we haven't really stopped either. We've been working with teachers to give them so that they could provide for at-home learning for their students at home, working on putting together kits that had a variety of different curriculum enhancing activities to meet their needs. So that's been kind of different in that we're really working to meet their at-home needs instead of their at-school needs, which has some crossover, but also a lot of different. I mean, now kids all need their own box of crayons instead of getting to share. So we're trying to figure out ways that we can multiply those resources that are available so that each kid has the things that they need.
Is quantity an issue? I would think that it would be hard to find 12 bowling balls for a class of 12. How do you balance out the efficiency as opposed to the quantity or the quality when this has to go into a home?
Well, I think part of the challenge is that we never know what we're going to get. You know, we could get bowling balls or we could get 18 wheelers worth of graduation robes, which both have happened. And so we kind of just roll with the punches. One of our core values is strategic flexibility. And it's because we never know day to day what a teacher's going to need, what a teacher's going to come in and request, or what we're going to get in from a donor. So in terms of quantity, that's where that creative reuse comes in. So we've had a lot of teachers requesting pencil boxes that they can send home, whether that's for little art kits, you know, some watercolors, scissors, tape, that kind of stuff, or just to house math manipulative, I can never say that word, manipulatives. But we don't have, you know, pencil boxes for everybody, you know, in the district. Fort Worth ISD has over 80,000 kids in it. Let alone we don't have enough of those to fill one school. So that's where we really have to get creative of, okay, you need pencil boxes. What's the project? Ah, you're sending home art supplies. Okay, cool. You know what we do have enough of for your school are really cool UPS boxes that will fit everything in there. We tested it, and now you can use the box itself as an art project as well. So you know, we try not to say no. We try to come up with a solution that either we have or a resource outside of us or something that might be a bit budget friendly more than ordering brand new.
Wow, extremely creative use of items, and it sounds like that really is the focus, is not necessarily fitting the need, but looking at what you have and then seeing how that can create some value to the education process. How did you two
Can I write that down? That was brilliant.
How did you two how did you come up with this idea? I know you have a history with each other through your life and your friendships. Has this been something that you've talked about for a long time, or did it just spring up and you just kind of ran with the idea? Was this planned or just inspired?
I mean, I would say Taylor and I couldn't be more different, and we just gravitated to each other from day one as kids, and we've always imagined or dreamed of a way that we could combine our powers to make the world a better place. And we had amazing teachers in Fort Worth ISD growing up. So we were already really invested in giving back. We also had an amazing science teacher who really ignited our passion for sustainability and the environment. Shout out to Mr. Sills. And so that was kind of the foundation, but the idea itself didn't really arise until we saw a waste in the event industry. And then we also saw firsthand the lack of resources in schools. And so we thought, well, instead of all of this going away into the landfill, can't we just give it to the schools that might need it, and then maybe help facilitate how to use those kind of awkward materials that aren't your basic supplies? And so after New York Fashion Week one year, we had awesome producers that allowed us to borrow the cargo van and take a bunch of great event materials that you wouldn't imagine would go into a school. And we literally knocked on some doors, and people were a little like, wait, you want to give us like 300 pounds of free glitter? I mean, okay, but what's the catch? So with that, it was kind of a hobby. It made us feel good. It made them feel good. But that was all in New York and San Francisco. But Taylor and I are both natives of Fort Worth. And so eventually we both ended up back here and thought, you know, this is the right place to start this initiative. The community that raised us, we want to make it better, you know? So, and we want to involve the community into it too. Like it's not, everybody can contribute to a classroom success, whether that's their dollars or emptying out their closet or telling their businesses, hey, instead of, you know, throwing those file trays out, let's call the Welman Project. I mean, really anybody can contribute to this and advocate for our hardworking teachers.
It's just so inspiring. It really is. And how long have you been at this now?
We are about to turn 5 years old. Our 5th birthday is on November 15th.
Wow. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
That's absolutely fantastic. Do you guys, and I want to brag on you a little bit. Do you have any idea as to how many schools or classrooms or students that you have been able to reach in this 5-year period?
Oh, I haven't looked at the total combined for the last 5 years. In the 2019-20 school year, we served 1,600 educators.
Wow.
And gave away over $1 million worth of stuff.
That is incredible. I'm just gonna jump on there and say over $5 million. I'll just go $1 million a year.
We've grown really fast. So the first
hold on. Maybe
the first year was like, you know, $20,000 of stuff.
Well,
and
let me tell you something. Even if it's $1,001 million, that is a pretty staggeringly positive number. So that is truly, really just amazing. I just can't even comprehend that. What a use of great things. What has that process taught you as educators and individuals? What have you learned through all this and given you growth as a person?
Patience.
And PlayDoh recipes, right?
PlayDoh, patience.
I think something we've learned is that even though, you know, our job is so fun, like we're playing with stuff all the time, we're high-fiving teachers, we're just going around the community trying to spread joy, but that doesn't mean that we are not also business people. We are, you know, running a company, and it's a lot of fun, but it's also a serious thing. We're making an impact, and our jobs take a lot of work to get that done. So really just looking at ourselves as business people, not just as, you know, friends hanging out, doing a thing together.
Well, and that's to go back to our numbers, you know, it's one thing, like, it's just as important for us to show people how they can make Play-Doh as it is for us to keep extremely detailed metrics. Like how much waste we've diverted from the landfill, how many teachers we served, how many districts we've served, and how much materials we've given away with a dollar sign. We have quickly realized that it's serious fun. And so for us to be able to continue the fun, to bring the fun, the joy, the creativity to our classrooms, we as executive directors, as co-founders, need to take ourselves seriously in that business position, which is for me extremely uncomfortable because I can't bring my Play-Doh to like a fundraising meeting. But by the end of it, I'm sharing the recipe. But yeah, it's been a challenge, but at the same time, everyone says, oh, don't start something with your best friend or your family member or whatever. And I think that Taylor and I have been destined to work together in some capacity. So we just share very different strengths. We share different strengths. Yeah, that makes sense. And so in that, we've really learned what our strengths are. And so we're able to tag team to keep the company culture, but also our, our business persona moving forward.
Sure. I think that's such a great point of the cross-pollination of the education and the environment. And I think it's something that really is special with the Welman Project and what you ladies have created. And that is that, ability to not only affect one thing, but multiple facets. And I just really do believe it's something that should certainly be praised. So I keep getting off track here. I haven't even asked about the Play-Doh or my lunch. I'm just so interested in this particular project and the way that it uses so many different aspects of environment and education. So on that note, speaking of environment and education, I'm really curious to hear about this Play-Doh recipe. So do you mind telling us a little bit about the ingredients and how you go about making it?
I would love to. First of all, I want to give credit to one of our board members who actually shared this recipe with me. The reason my 6-year-old isn't on this call is because she's actually making her own Play-Doh at my friend's house who gave me the recipe. So thanks, Lane. So it's got very few ingredients. You're going to want to start with your flour, and it's 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt, 4 tablespoons of cream of tartar.
Ooh, I always wondered what that was for.
No idea. Oh, you can make meringue with it. I'm not going to do that, but and then so that's 3 dry ingredients. And what you're going to do is you're going to put it into a mixer, or you can just put it into a bowl and do it by hand. And then you'll have your 2 cups of hot water. You can boil it or you can microwave it. And then 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Now, the thing that's cool about this is that this is going to make a lot of Play-Doh, but you can also half it because they're all even numbers, except for the cup of salt, but you can half. So you can kind of play around with it.
Nice.
That's what you do.
I think.
And then you're going to pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. And just let the mixer run, and then we'll add some food coloring and some decorations.
Nice. Now, do you have a template already made in the mixing bowl, or are you going to be doing all this for us as we keep moving through the interview?
Okay, so I've already poured in the dry ingredients because that's not fascinating. Like here, I'll do a replay.
Ooh. Hey, bravo.
Okay, so you're gonna do that with the dry ingredients. So yeah, I'll be making this as we go. And actually, I can't wait for Taylor to answer the next question so I can go get my boiling water.
All right. Well, hopefully I won't throw her off too much and jump around. I'm not quite as conditioned and much of a conformist as the two of you are with your scripting. So if you need to fall back, just let me know. I'm super curious. I know that there are already enough challenges in the educational classroom prior to a national pandemic. How do you see education continuing to adapt? I say that because I know we've already gone into the virtual realm. There's a lot of debate and conversation about what is best for the kids and how they're able to learn. how do you see us continuing to adapt to this new normal, and where's it going to take us educationally?
I think that teachers are the best people to take on this challenge. You know, every single day is different in a classroom. They're already having to adapt daily to individual students' needs, figure out what works with one that doesn't work with the other. So I think they've got a handle on it. You know, it's hard. They're really stressed out. They're really overwhelmed. You know, they're getting hit with different information every day as they try to figure out just how to be there for their students. But I think they're making it work. I think there's been so much innovation in the virtual learning, and then you know, they're already thinking ahead to getting back in their classrooms, how to make it safe, how to keep their kids safe. They're, you know, they spent the pandemic time when everybody was at home, you know, gathering food and supplies and hand delivering it to each of their students' doorsteps so that their kids had food and supplies. And they're going to do whatever it takes. We've seen that before the pandemic, and I think we're going to continue to see that educators are going to do whatever it takes to be there for their students.
Nice. Have you seen a shift in attitudes from teachers? Are you finding that they're preferring one way or another, or do you still feel as though they're figuring it out? I know that a lot of schools are going half virtual, half in the classroom. What are you hearing talking to the educators about what their preference is? Is it really personal, or is there some value to virtual as opposed to the classroom?
I think it depends teacher to teacher and also grade to grade. You know, for preschool, early childhood education, elementary, that socialization is so important. That learning how to share something, that learning how to, cleaning up after yourself still needs to be taught in high school. I don't think my husband took that course, but the point is, it's like, you know, I think it just depends on the teacher, and I think it depends on the age of the students, to be honest with you. I feel like our teachers that are teaching the younger grades are really trying to figure out how they're going to connect with their students, and really trying to figure out some hands-on learning with online school. Those babies need to be able to play and touch, and I mean, how can you teach about the properties of matter, texture, and all that kind of stuff without something? And getting those materials to those students, I think, is a challenge. I don't know if that answered the question. Back me up here.
I think hands down, like, they would rather be in the classroom. They don't.
Absolutely.
They want to be in school, but they're practical about the fact that they can't do that safely with, you know, 30 kids in a tiny room.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious if your requests have changed at all from a hands-on educational component, say a bowling ball, to we need, you know, 500 sheets of plexiglass for safety and COVID precaution. Have you found that there's value in each, or is there a loss of educational component value just to try to stay up with the safety measures that are needed in the classrooms nowadays?
It's a big question, friends. Like, I mean, yeah, well, okay, let me break it down. You get the thing out of the cupboard.
I got it. I'm listening.
So the first question is, yes, we have seen a bit of a shift. Again, pencil boxes, things that they can put individually, you know, you create individual things either to take to that student's house or to have in the classroom, so that student's only touching those scissors or whatever. But also we have seen a huge increase in teachers needing extra monitors for their home classroom setup, you know, computer mice, whiteboards, not just for them to be able to teach, but also for the kids to have at their home. And also realizing that Fort Worth ISD has a very high percentage of economically disadvantaged families and students. And so really trying to make those lessons and those materials accessible no matter what situation you're in, that student's in. So that's the first part of the question. Yeah, I mean, I think that we're not going back to what it was before. My child only finished half of kindergarten. So in her mind, she'll never really remember school like we did. So I'm grieving that, but I also think that she doesn't know what she doesn't know. And so her normal is not a new normal, it's her normal. So I think teachers and students and parents, you know, they're bums, but we have to fall forward. We have to move forward. You know, if we keep going, oh man, you know, the curriculum is not going to be as robust and my child's going to be missing out on this, then we're just going to be, you know, negative Nancy's sitting there very sad. So I think we just really have to jump in and swim with our mask on.
Education can happen anywhere and with anything, you know, especially our art teachers are sending their kids out to the front yard to gather things up to make an art project, or looking around the house to see what's been discarded that they can use. So there is value in everything and ways to find educational opportunities in every moment.
And creativity is thriving. I mean, it is the foundation of any solution. And so people are getting more creative. They're realizing that they are creative, you know? So that's kind of exciting for us in what we do, because the teachers that used to say, well, I'm just not creative, are now like, okay, I have this crazy idea involving sticks, you know? So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen some extremely imaginative classrooms with dividers themed as school buses and just some really, really inventive stuff. I've joked often that teachers are the true artisans. They've got their history of scripts or their, you know, math notations and things, and then it really does come down to delivery and presentation of that material. So it's just it's been a silver lining, if you will, to see how a lot of these educators have embraced the challenges in front of them. So I'm curious what your thoughts are, and I kind of heard you mention, you touched on it a little bit about your daughter seeing, not knowing the old normal. Do you think that this is going to stay with us, with virtual learning being a tool in the educational component? Or do you think we'll just go back to classroom settings and everyone will try to kind of reset to that old? I find it very interesting that everybody says, oh, I can't wait to get back to normal. Well, here we are 9 months later, and it appears to me that this might be the normal. And I just am very curious to hear if people are finally starting to be a little more receptive to the future rather than holding on to the past and how it was prior to that. Are you hearing feedback from that in a more supportive way now that we're 9 months into a new school season?
I think so. I mean, what's great is I feel like her teachers are more accessible now, because if I can't make a meet the teacher, or you know, or if I can't make a class meeting or something, you know, that we have the ability to Zoom. You know, now we're all set up on all these different apps to talk to each other, and we're all, including my 6-year-old, more savvy on navigating those apps. I also think just on a waste reduction point of view, we're not going through as much paper. You know, her spelling test, we were allowed to take a dry erase marker and do her spelling test on the window and just send over a picture to her teacher, and that counted. And we're not, so that's been kind of exciting to see. So I feel like there are definitely some elements from this that I do hope carry over. Now, do I want my child staring at a screen all day? No, I don't. That's not how she learns to begin with. And I don't think that's great for her developmentally, but it is where we are. And I think we can always, from anything, we can always draw some things that are positive. And had this situation not happened, you know, we wouldn't have made those discoveries. So that's my Pollyanna version of how I feel. Taylor?
I agree.
Agreed.
Agreed.
You go well together. You can certainly tell that you've done this once or twice. So, okay. So how's your Play-Doh coming there?
Well, I need to turn on the mixer, but it's loud. So I'm going to go turn it on in a different room and I'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
So it's not too, like, is it, so you tell me, is it too loud?
That's nothing. That's much, yeah, it's much quieter than the shaker I used.
It's gonna be on for a minute.
Making my margaritas last week, so.
You made margaritas last week? I didn't know this was like a food and beverage situation.
Well, I've had one liquid lunch, honestly, if I'm being honest, and it was actually a Bloody Mary, so it was quite good. So ladies, I know that that you are a resource yourself with the Welman Project. I saw a viral photo of two young ladies sitting outside of a Taco Bell using the Taco Bell internet to go to school. I'm curious, what helpful community resources are you seeing or using yourself? And how can your organization be assistant or provide assistance to other educators and educational organizations?
There's so much. I mean, the community has just pitched in so many amazing ways. Certainly, all of the teachers and the school district with getting the lunches to the kids every day, and there's so many great nonprofits. LVT Rise, Fortress Youth Development, churches are pitching in. There's so much that has gone into finding innovative ways to keep making sure that kids and their families have the basics and hopefully have a little more, have activities, have things to keep them engaged and busy. And I think there's so many great innovations that have happened in our local nonprofits to be able to keep serving their clients.
Vanessa, anything to add on that in terms of community resources?
No, I think Taylor really nailed that one.
Nice. Who's your biggest source? And I don't want to sound crude. Does the inventory come to you or do you seek it out? I'm assuming it's a mix of both. But are you, well, okay, so apparently not. Vanessa made a face. So I'm so curious. Do you go to landfills and look for things? Do you get a phone call and they're like, bowling ball on 7th and Vine, come get it? Like, how does that go about?
Oh my gosh, I wish they did. That would be hilarious. And then we could go out in like ninja masks and like stealthily get the bowling ball. Oh my God, so good. No, they come to us. Like we are consumers and people have stuff and they quickly realize they don't need that stuff or they need new stuff. Now, part of our mission is to educate businesses about sustainable practices. For example, like if you're giving away swag, don't put your physical address on there because you might move. Put it on your website. You know, they're just little tricks. But when you do have that swag, they come to us. It's kind of crazy. People will ask, well, what's your marketing plan and things like that? And really word of mouth and the internet, like our social media. Their businesses especially are really happy to see their stuff get repurposed for a good cause, like educators or education. And then they're able to kind of go, hey, we're a bake and look at all the good we're doing in the world. So that's been really shockingly easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't had to pursue stuff at all in 5 years. We've always had plenty, and it just takes that one person at a company to go like, hey, that's good stuff. That shouldn't be thrown away. You know, Google, where can I give this to in Fort Worth, and they find us.
Yeah.
Nice. And you know, you guys do so much that it's interesting to me how your message is perceived. I think of Walmart and flip-flops, where I'm going for my flip-flops, or Albertsons and fresh produce, whatever. What do you want people to really register when they hear the Welman Project? What is the base of the message that you're wanting people to get from this? If it's a resource or an opportunity, what do you want people to know about you first and foremost?
This is such a good exercise for us. just because like, just really, we've got so many things, and we're actually like internally really working through this. Right now, I would say make space to rethink your waste, make space to rethink education, make space to create, to learn, to play. You know, we're about materials, but we're really, our vision is more about a community for all, where we're sharing resources and ideas, and everyone contributing to making our education system better, because ultimately, if we're all contributing to that, then we've all contributed to a better, brighter, greener future. So I think what we're offering is community, materials, and just the space to really be creative and think outside the box and color outside the lines. And joy.
Nice. I think that's a great message to be pressing. So on that same note, do you two ladies have any tips or tricks for all of us out there struggling these days, not only with education, but with the racial tension that's out there, the social injustice, all of this stuff that has us just really reeling physically and mentally? Do you have any tips or tricks on how to stay sane and focused mentally and physically? Anything that's working for you or that you've seen?
I recommend being an introvert. Working really well for me in not missing all of the socialization.
I'm having a hard time. I mean, for me, I've been having a lot of fun with my kid, combining what I do for work with where she's at emotionally, mentally, and academically. And so there are so many times when last spring, you know, when she was doing virtual kindergarten, where I was like, okay, this is the assignment. I was like, ooh, I have an idea for this. We're going to do this. And then I'm going to share it on the Welman social media. So like, it's actually given me an opportunity to explore my favorite parts of my job. But making Play-Doh, you know, I don't know. It's finding those simple joys. Because my joy is being around a lot of people. My joy is high-fiving people. When you take that away from me, it feels like a piece of me is gone. So just really trying to break it down and find those little things, just one foot in front of the other. And if on a given day you don't feel like getting up, don't. Because we all have to be, when you asked me a while ago, like, you know, I guess what our journey is and how we felt about, you know, being a nonprofit and all that kind of stuff. And what I've learned is patience. And I feel like this situation that the world is in right now is patience. And I also remind myself that I'm giving my daughter the grace and patience, knowing that she's not getting every answer right. And I don't get mad at her. It's part of learning. And so if I can give her that grace and patience, then I should do that to myself too. And I should also realize that I'm still learning too. Life is learning. And so with racial tensions, with COVID, with wildfires, with all the things that could make me feel extremely heavy and sad, I've decided to learn more and then figure out how I can put my little penny in the bucket to make even a small change, even if that's, you know, supporting a Black-owned business, even if that's listening to a podcast that I normally wouldn't, or making Play-Doh.
Indeed. Do you ladies, have you had the opportunity to use any younger students as focus groups? Has there been any time where you've asked them to come in and give them any repurposed things, or even watching your daughter out in the yard and say, oh my God, I never in a million years would have thought that had value? Do you lean on the children as well for ideas and repurposing opportunities?
Absolutely. I mean, yes. The great thing about kids, especially younger kids, is they haven't been told yet that creative is not smart. You know, they haven't been told that you can't color, you know, the horse rainbow. And so I think that they are our biggest inspirations. And when our teachers come in and talk about something cool that their student did, it's always so great. It ignites our passion for what we do. My daughter, I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because I have like 30 yogurt top cups that I'm like, you can recycle this, I'm pretty sure. But she like latches onto it and like picks up everything off the ground, wants to save every single thing. She's got ideas all over the place, which is a nice way of saying messes.
Project.
But I don't think that's something I taught her. I think that's just what 6-year-olds do, because I've seen it in other kids too. Taylor? What?
She got it from Vanessa for sure.
Yes, and yet she will tell you that she doesn't like doing arts and crafts. She wants to be an engineer when she grows up.
Well, we need.
Which I'm like, did you know there's you need both.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. All right, how's that Play-Doh coming? I can't even hear the mixing bowl. Is it still going?
If I turn it off.
Oh.
So here's the thing. See this?
Wow.
This needs to be mixed a lot more. The more air you get into it, the more, now I've really screwed myself over, the more it will turn into this.
Well, I truly find it amazing that that you point that out. Is there a time limit for parents? In other words, leave it in the mixing bowl for X amount of time, or
there's not really a time limit. You just have to look at the consistency. The way that my friend described it to me is like biscuit dough. The more you knead it, the more you mix it or whatever, it's gonna kind of be less this. And then once you get a good consistency, I added food coloring to mine. And you can also actually add like lavender or just a couple splashes of whatever things you think smell good, essential oil wise, just for a little flavor. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Nice. All right. All right, Taylor, I'm sure you'll probably be able to handle this as well. This is probably one of the most important questions we have today. How and where can we find the Welman Project and keep up with all of the great things that you ladies have going on?
Our website is thewellmanproject.org. That is Welman with one L, not two L's. And Facebook, Instagram. We have a Twitter account. We don't use it. Look at that. But Facebook is a great way to keep up with what we're doing day to day.
Nice. All right, now ladies, I didn't even say anything about my lunch, but I did manage.
Yeah, what's that?
Done here. So I did some beef and broccoli today. So I'm going to start plating up as we start moving towards the end of this wonderful Play-Doh creation. All I did basically was I boiled some rice, And I'm not going to lie, with the holiday weekend, I wanted to make things a little easier. So the beef and broccoli are actually out of a bag from Trader Joe's, but it is quite delicious. And I just warmed that up as well. So as I move on to plate through my stuff, I'll just give you a little insight there of the beef and broccoli in the skillet. It is actually quite delicious. I'm hoping it is as good on round 2. So ladies, as we plate up here and finish our Play-Doh and beef and broccoli, do you have any other final thoughts or words of wisdom for the masses out there?
I'm looking at my notes.
We are working on opening up a new space.
Oh, nice.
So follow us on the Facebook and Instagram to see when you can come play with us. It's going to be a storefront and workshop space for the community.
And so is that place secured? Is this breaking news? Can you tell us where that's going to be?
Not all of the have been crossed just yet. We're very close. So announcements are forthcoming.
Nice. So stay checked in with all of the great things so that you can find out where that's going to be. Can I at least ask, is it in Fort Worth?
Of course.
It's in Fort Worth, and I think the best part about it is that going back to our vision of a community for all, we're making space to create and to rethink and reimagine. Right now, our facility is only open to educators, but with this new space, we're excited to announce that there are spaces and programming that we're opening up to the entire community, so that everybody can come play, but we'll still have our foundation of filling classrooms, not landfills, free materials for educators. So,
nice. All right, and I just want to reiterate, if there is necessity for the Welman Project, all of that is available on your website, right? If people have things that they want to contribute or find out what you're looking for, I'm assuming that's all on there, as well as how to get a hold of you ladies.
Yep.
Yes, if you want to donate materials, you're going to want to go to Give Stuff. It's literally called Give Stuff on our website. If you are an educator and you're looking for materials, you want to go to Get Stuff. We try to keep it real simple.
Nice.
We are by appointment only. So you're going to want to fill out, whether you're an educator or a donor, you're going to want to fill out those forms on those 2 menu options so that we can schedule a time for you to drop off or come shop. And then, of course, I'd be remiss to not mention that if you do want to support us monetarily, we are looking to move and open by January 2021, which is right around the corner. And to do this, we need everybody's help, because this is going to be a space for everybody. So it's an investment, not in Taylor and I, not in the Welman Project, but something that is very much for the community as a whole.
Nice. Ladies, what you are doing is absolutely amazing. And we are just so appreciative to have you in the Fort Worth area. Please keep up the great work. And it's just truly amazing work that you ladies are doing, along with some absolutely gorgeous and creative Play-Doh as well.
So here we go.
Oh,
now here's the thing. Okay, so virtual school, every parent will probably have one of these. This is a shot glass. So you can use that to make your round cookies. You can take cookie cutters, and then these are actually just little pieces. And to be honest with you, what we use these for are math manipulatives. So this is how we're adding and subtracting, counting, but they also make really great Play-Doh decoration. And finally, these little jars, this is not paid advertising, but these little jars, the We brand by Yoplait, they make amazing jars. They hold the Play-Doh perfectly, and then you can actually get reusable lids on their website. So for a 4-pack, I think it's like $3.99, and there's silicone lids that you can keep all your Play-Doh fresh.
Wow.
Reusing.
A great tip and wonderful insight. It's just amazing stuff, ladies. You're Your creativity is inspiring, and your mission as well, just so hopeful and so beneficial to the environment, educators, and please, please, please keep up the great work. And I'll ask one more time, any final thoughts or anything else you'd like to add to the community out there?
Keep on going.
Keep on going.
Keep on going. Keep playing.
All right, ladies. Well, I'm going to give you a little insight to my finished product.
Yes.
Here. So there's the beef and broccoli with the rice. And as we always do, that wraps up another edition of our boxed lunch. Just a heads up for everybody, we are moving to only Mondays as we make it through the rest of the year. The Art Center is open now, and so we are trying to get back to somewhat of a business as usual over there. Please come check us out at the art galleries and visit us safely. Also, make sure you follow the Fort Worth Community Arts Center on Facebook, Instagram. We still have a ton of wonderful content over on our YouTube channel, so make sure you check us out there as well. Ladies, so grateful to get to have lunch with you both today and spend some time. Just so very thankful of all you're doing. So with that being said, this is Jason Leyva. You guys have a great, great week out there. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to everybody else. And we'll see you again real soon, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.